Howdy, team. Happy Thursday. The great hope of the Christian life is not that we get things from God, it's that we get God. Man, I hope that statement jumped off the page at you in the lesson, because holy cow, is that good, solid, deep stuff that we can take great joy in, because it's absolutely true. Welcome to the Lewis Temple. I don't call it that all the time, but that, truth be told, is what my home is. It's a temple. The temples, of course, is a place of worship, and the fact is that I worship in my home more often than I do anywhere else on planet Earth, and I hope that's true for you too. Not just because this is where I sleep and this is where I spend the majority of my time in life, but this is just where I commune with God most, and it's where my family commune with God most. We don't live up at the church, although sometimes it does feel that way. We're in our homes, and this is where God longs to meet with us most, and that's a cool thing. So we're rejoicing this week, and we're talking to the students this week about how God loves to spend time with his people. It's his heart and it's his desire. So the temple was God's way of saying, I want to be close to my people. The tabernacle was that too. The temple was, I want to be close to my people. Jesus was God's way of saying, I want to be even closer to my people. And heaven ultimately is all about, I never want to be separated from my people ever again. I want to be with them for eternity. See, the temple is really, it's two things. It's like a scale model of how things work in heaven, or at least that's how the temple was supposed to operate. We know it didn't. Nothing ever here operates perfectly like it does in heaven, but that was sort of the initial design, was to give us a glimpse into heaven, but it was also supposed to be a sign of what was to come. God frequently in the Old Testament was just giving us these little hints. This is how things work in the kingdom. This is my desire and how I want to operate with you. And the temple was just that. Jesus wanted to, or God the Father wanted to spend time with his people. And then he sent his son to make us his temple. And that's really the big theme. If the students don't get anything else this week, we want them to understand this. It's not about a building. In fact, I think it's pretty interesting that we don't get any into the crazy, ornate, beautiful details of the temple itself. You think about it, it was a building made out of gold, a building that was painted with actual gold. It's incredible to think about. It wasn't nearly as massive as what we think about frequently, but it was pretty big. But again, it was just covered in gold. We don't see things like that around here, but that's what they did in Israel. But we don't get into those details because that's ultimately not the point. The temple is not the point. It's who lives in the temple is the point. And the fact that God himself first wanted to dwell there, but ultimately he wanted to dwell here with us. And so we're going to rejoice in that this week. So make a big deal out of that. This is a small thing. I think it's worth saying. The lesson makes the statement that the temple was built as the result of peace. Here's a cool segue that you should make from that. The temple was built because peace already happened. Jesus built a temple out of us so that we could have peace. See how I flipped it there? Because again, real peace never happens without Christ, but we get it now because of him. It's a beautiful thing. Also, that exercise on page 90, where it talks about, how does God dwell with us? Do that exercise. I think that'll be really helpful to the students. And then even ask them a question, hey, can y'all think of any other instances where God dwelled with his people that we didn't go over these scriptures? That'll be some fun things to do. Also, I think option number 2, both option 1 and 2 are both pretty good, but option number 2 could lead to some fun conversations if you tweak it a little bit. Ask them about their family history. What do they know about their family history? And you might even ask them specifically, are there things in their family that get passed down? Now, that might be an actual physical thing, like a family heirloom, and that could be kind of fun to hear about. But are there any family traits that they know of that got passed down? Like, Daddy was an athlete, and Grandpa was an athlete, so I'm an athlete. Just whatever. That could be some fun conversations. Not necessarily particularly spiritual, but will just give you some insight into their lives. But you can make that segue. The temple was about representing what God was like, giving them a little glimpse. Jesus was the perfect representation of what God is like. And so now we as God's temples, we're supposed to be a representation of what Christ is like. So ask them, are you a good representative of your family? And then are you a good representative of Jesus as his temple? Guys, I love y'all. Pray for me. I'm preaching Sunday morning. I'm excited about that, but I need your prayers, and I'm excited about hanging out with y'all too. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.